Hello and welcome. This is impromptu again. And whenever you're watching this, may it serve you in the highest and greatest good of all. Before I go ahead and ask you for your permission to see your energetic field and to emit light codes to you, for you, I want to start by saying that everything I channel through in this playtime, reading, fun, get together, gathering, it's going to be for the highest and best good of all. Meaning I'm intending that everything be permeated by source, unconditional love. And that anything that comes up today that maybe is ready to shift or ready to transmute or ready to move or ready to turn into something new, that it will be done so gracefully and lovingly. And for those of you that, many of you, I think everyone here may be new to me, I am a channel, so I channel in many different formats. My name is Bria on Earth, but I'm an eternal soul, just like you are. And we have many embodiments in the higher realms that we can actually access here now. So some of us come in and we're angelic souls already. Some of us come in and we're interplanetary souls already. Good morning, soul whispers. Some of us come in and maybe we're earth-based souls up to that timeline. I'll share. But what we're doing in these sessions is getting to the coriest, the centerist of our soul and our essence. And it's when we go beneath the shrouding that we may have built or have emitted to us in our ego field, all of those wounding patterns, or I'll say blockages even, they can serve as blockages, those just naturally transmute once we're getting beneath them. So really, the little tiny channel I'm sharing before I ask your permission is that really what we're doing here is getting back to your original essence. So a lot of it's unlearning. But if I have your permission in this session to simply scan your energetic field and transmit to you light codes that will serve you in the highest and best good of all, then just say yes. Also, please know that if you're driving or operating machinery, now is probably not the best time for this. It is not the best time for this. Because this can, what the guides are showing me is, and they've shown me this many times before, beautiful, some yeses are coming in, excellent, you're in good hands, we will take care of you, me and our guides. Okay, let me see what they're showing me. They're sharing that a lot, there's going to be, this is funny, they're sharing that a lot of you in this session that are going to be here today, you have the, they're showing me the Divine Soul Blueprints, and they're showing me that a lot of you have this, in our Divine Soul Blueprint, we have these kind of, it's what I can call fixed expressions. Expressions is the best way I can describe it. But many of you here have the archetype that is very rebellious, and it's also very, it's going against the status quo. So you might see everything that's going on in the world and in popular culture and in what everyone else sees as really acceptable and the way to be or the way to go. You might really resist that just by nature. I love this. I have this too. So that's probably why I know it so well. But they wanted to share that that's not a part of you to throw away. It's simply a part of you to be aware of, because when you house that expressionary template, part of the reason we're here on the planet right now is to create the new. And it is going to be really different than what was. And it is going to turn some heads and rock some boats. And it is going to piss some people off. And they want to commend you because it's not about, that's a part of you that's beautiful. And they're also sharing the part of that can get a little twisted is, hello, Anthony. The part is when that part of you gets, what I'll say is overlaid with ego wounding. That's usually shaped in the first 7 years of life. That it can be a little distortionary. So some of that's going to get upgraded today. And by upgraded, I don't mean upgraded. I mean aligned. And we're working with 3 tools. I kind of had the vision of, this is going to be weird for some of you, but 2 men and a baby. I haven't even seen the movie since I was like probably a teenager. But I have 2. I have the Soul Journey deck by James Van Praagh. Here's one of the men. And then I have the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd, another one of the men. And then I have my very first book, which is the baby, Space Library, and I drew on it. I did some light language on it because this is actually the editing copy. It's not the final copy. And that's me, Bree Marie. That's my pen name. I'm Bree, full name Brianna, but Bree Marie is my pen name. The reason that I chose Bree Marie in this book, and for all the books I'm going to be writing, is because, you know, what I will say is this: the writer of this book is my higher self. The writer of this book is the version of me that is resonating in the angelic and ascended master planes. So yes, I'm here and I'm the, fun feather pen. But it's coming from frequency states of me that I am still learning how to expand into, is what I'll share. It's channeled work. So we're going to work with, yes, Josh. And Josh, guess what? It's coming out on Friday. Self-published, because you know what? The contents of this book, trying to find a publisher for it, was not happening. So self-publishing, because then I can talk about everything I want to talk about. But we're going to basically use these 2 men and a baby. Fun play thing. My ego is still present, as you can see. She's a lot more fun and a lot less combative. Yes. Friday on Amazon. So you can search Space Library Beings of Light as of Friday. I'll make lots of announcements, and I'll be doing a reading here to celebrate the book launch on Friday. So this is just kind of like, I went on a bike ride. It's kind of pleasant weather today. And this is just a little personal share, but like this last month, like the eclipses has rocked my world. It's like, it's tested me in all sorts of ways. And at the same time that I'm, putting out a book that I've been working on for almost 4 years. So it's like this weird portal of transformation and ego death that is both delightful and terrifying. And sometimes I just have to let myself feel it all. Oh, thank you, Josh. You're very kind. I appreciate that very much. So we're going to start. Actually, they're telling me to start with the Space Library. Start with the baby. We're going to start with the baby. So, wait, before I start with the baby, why do I keep talking about the baby? Okay. What I'm going to ask is, what they're showing me is a lot of you are dealing with like a certain area of your life that is, what I want to say is like dying off. It's like a part of you, maybe a relationship, maybe a job, maybe a location, maybe it's what they're showing me is like a really shaped identity that you were pretty attached to, but the identity was very inauthentic to your soul. And so that's falling off right now. It's a skin that you're shedding. And does anyone have any topics around what I just spoke to that you want to just use a word for in the comments before I pull to a page on here so I can make sure the message is relevant? And before we do that, I'm actually going to light some sage to get a ceremonial space going and just going and full pen not working. Sometimes I feel like a full pen not working, so that's very relevant. Shaking on it, licking your finger, trying to get the ink out. Nothing's getting it to go. I don't know why that's such a funny statement to me because it's like very fitting. Walking into this next level of ascension. And it's so soul whispers, don't you feel like it's different than it was? At least since the last eclipse, I think on the 14th. It seems like something, you know what it feels like to me? Oh, that's hot. I just touched my lighter after like having it lit. And that was for a reason. Because they showed me, we had a similar energetic shift in April, the last eclipse last year. So a lot of you kind of think back to what was going on for you last April. A lot of you probably had a lot of tower moments, and you might not even be able to remember what it was all around, but you remember the energetic of it. They're sharing this is really similar. But what they're showing is birthing pains, and they're sharing that last year's birthing pains weren't, okay, let's see, how do I channel what they're showing me? Let's see what I can see here. Okay, so they're showing me last year's eclipse versus this year's eclipse, and they're showing me last year's eclipse, it just felt like everything got wiped out without being replaced. So last year's eclipse may have felt like your cup was emptied, and then ever since, you feel like you don't know what it's going to get filled with. Let me know in the comments if you resonate. But they're showing this year's eclipse is very different because this year's eclipse is, what they're showing me is scanning that cup once more, that old cup, giving it one additional upgrade, but they're showing me that in April and May, no, they're showing me actually a crescendo effect for the rest of the year. But after this solar eclipse on the 28th, what they're showing me is you're going to start to feel what your cup is being refilled with. So you're going to start to get a sense of what is this new version? Infinite You. Wow. Oh, cool. Cool. Renjin World during SXSW. I don't know what that is, but I'm lifting you up to speak out and come out and lead in any way during this time is a very bold and brave act of service to the earth and to the soul. Whilst dragging the pen, it keeps getting stuck between creation and nothing like a heartbeat. Oh, beautiful. I love the way that you said that. Yes. So it feels though that what the guides are bringing in right now in this very moment of the message is, and I'm going to read a little bit from the book to get a little anchoring, but they want to give us a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. They're sharing that emptiness we felt, that void space we felt, the nothing, the no thing, in the womb of no thing. When you're in that dark, fertile soil, you have no indication to know that light will come. You have no indication to know that you're about to sprout. You're in that dark, fertile soil. They're sharing, we're going to start to be able to feel the light, sense the light, and be filled back up. So Lucy, when you're feeling empty, this is hilarious. They're giving me a high five. They're showing me like, give yourself a very comical high five the next time you feel a sense of emptiness, because that means that you have reached the soul evolution where you could empty out all of the ego constructs that you created in this life. So once you wipe away all these things that you've been pretending to be, or all these things that you've done for protection, or all these things that you've done to keep yourself safe and keep people at a distance, and all these things that you've done to create and fabricate a version of you that would fit into this world, those have fallen now. So if you feel that emptiness, give yourself a little mental high five that, yes, we did it. We emptied our cup. And now we get to fill it back up. What do I want to fill it back up with? And then they're also sharing, okay, look, they're sharing to read a page. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to read a little structure here. Structure, that was just a word I saw on the page. But if you get this in the future, and I can't tell you what page it is because I added more. It was 138 pages, and then I added more. Now it's 144, and that makes sense because 144 makes a lot of sense for me and a lot of you, and you know what I'm saying, 144,000, 144, 144, and here we go. We will begin by explaining the concept of form. On Earth, you are in form. Your planet is in form. Your solar system is in form. Outside of the solar system, there is no form. You are in a bubble-like structure, in a massive nursery. Are these bubble-like structures where all are intermingling. So for those of you clairvoyants out there, you're seeing what I'm saying more than you're hearing what I am saying. There are an infinite number of these systems. When you are connecting to a past life, you are connecting to another version of you, or another emanation of your oversoul that occurred in another timeline. This elaborate reality of things cannot be understood by the human mind. You wish to understand everything about life in terms of form. This is the barrier that is naturally formed within your mental body when you come into an incarnation. It is immaculate design. It is also designless. It is evolving, blooming, expanding, always and in all ways. Connecting into your central channel of energy is the only way to understand beyond form. So I'm just going to stop there. So this is the paradox of awakening and ascension, is we have to go in to go out. And that's what they're kind of showing me, an energetic pattern that some of you may be experiencing in your spiritual or healing journey, is that you're going out first instead of going in first. So the quick little switch is go in first. This is why meditation must be practiced as often as possible. The longer that you try to understand the properties and essence of spirit, the longer you will separate from it. It is not in the mind that spiritual concepts can be understood. It is only through the portal of the heart, some of you might want to give a little pat on the heart, that you will begin to tap into your infinite essence and flow of all that is. So remembering, we're intimately connected. Heather, you always get that spider sense. I love it. You're intimately connected with everything. It's this beautiful, divine, a magical experience. You can carry this magical light with you into your physical body. The more you fill yourself up with this light, the more you will find it enjoyable to be here on Earth. So that's just a little excerpt from Space Library that I was blessed to conduit in. And then let's get that anchored. So they're showing me to grab the Soul Journey, James Van Prague. Okay, that right there. All right. Gratitude. So how do we anchor what we just talked about, which is like the thing that you try to talk about, and the more you talk about it, the further away you get from it? Here's how. Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So when I first started really on my awakening journey, where I was really letting my ego just like sit in the rocker off to the side. One of the main things I found each and every single day that I needed to do to keep myself okay. This is the Soul Journey by James Van Praagh. So good. So good. I highly recommend. This is probably one of the first Oracle decks I ever got, like 4 or 5 years ago. And then what they're showing me is the eye rolls. Because let's say you're experiencing any kind of struggle or contraction in your ascension journey or healing journey, you're probably going to feel like gratitude isn't available to you. So what they're showing me is it is going to feel a little bit fake it till you make it for a little while. But gratitude is something that is a frequency. And it's also a frequency that's very natural to the soul. So by tuning into gratitude each and every single day, oh, well, I have even though I don't have this that I want, I have this roof over my head, or I have this person in my life, or I have this water to drink, or I have this, at least I have some semblance of my health right now, or there's always something to be grateful for. And what they're sharing is it's not just about, they're sharing a lot of us had this preconceived kind of religious programming that, oh, well, we have to give thanks, we have to give thanks, we have to give thanks. And I have an experience of this growing up where, I won't share it here, but there was people in my life that were very angry at me for not writing a thank you note when I was very, very young. And that gave me a twisted kind of concept of like, oh, people are only giving gifts because they want to thank you. And that's not the energy we're talking about with gratitude. With gratitude, we're talking about this deep, it's a remembrance and a return to faith. And it's a remembrance that God is not this angry man in the sky just wanting us to follow a rule book, that God is all. And that God is unconditional love. And that God wants to experience. And that God does not judge. Once we're really able to kind of heal that wounding within us, gratitude is going to anchor a lot more. Because the gratitude isn't going to be from some complex of the ego that is based in, validating an ego. It's based in, wow, it is a gift to be here. It's a gift to be alive. It's a true gift. And many of us can think to people that were taken too early or that left too early. Can't we honor them by honoring our own gift of life? Okay. Ooh, this is getting deep. I thought we were going to be like fun today. I even named it Space Library Fun. But we're going to grab a Gene Keys message. If you don't have the Gene Keys, I know it looks like a little intimidating, but do I have my halogenic? Yeah. So I'm just going to flash my halogenic profile because I don't want to tell you everything. But whoop, there's like a little thing of circles, and you can do it on the website, the Gene Keys website, for free. You can at least get the words. You get the gist, but you're going to want the book after seeing it. And no, I'm not like making money from it. I just share what I love. Based on the I Ching, so those of you that feel really gravitated towards Zen Buddhism or the Tao or the Tao Te Ching or even like Vedic texts. Let's see what else. Some of these more ancient texts that weren't religious texts, they were life texts, life scribings. Okay, so we're going to pull to a page to see where this is going. How's everybody doing? Is anyone dealing with anything that you want me to ask the Gene Keys about? Religion, first phase of life. So good, Linz. So the Gene Keys, there's 64 Gene Keys. These comprise of, this is the DNA. This is some incredible beings that cracked the code on the DNA. So basically, you're going to have your halogenic profile, which is the main DNA, the main gene keys that are affecting you in life and that are shaping you in life. And then if you are like me, where you just want to keep stretching and expanding and learning more and more and more and more and more and more and more. That's sort of my like way of being. If I'm not learning, I feel like I'm dying. But you can read the gene keys that are not part of your halogenic profile, and that's going to do something to you as well. Like, for example, activate dormant DNA. That's right. Also, so what is this? Would love to know more about your current situation. So everybody just, here's what we're going to do. Whatever it is you're dealing with, your current situation, whatever your current thing is, the thing that you feel you're needing to shift, or they're showing me the area of your life that might feel really fuzzy or unclear or unshaped. Or maybe they're also showing me, for some of you, this is more of like a dream type thing where you know something is new and coming into your life, your periphery, your embodiment, but it's not in form yet. It's in spirit. Doesn't have any shape yet. So you feel it, but you don't know what it is. Whatever that is, bring that, decalcifying the pineal gland, all part of it. Getting our elixirs and our spinal fluid and everything actually working for us to naturally cleanse the energetic field so that we're not constantly working from fight or flight. Okay, so let's just it feels like what we're all wanting some clarification on in this field of consciousness is the nervous system. So they're showing me that whatever this message is, it's going to help us understand our own nervous system more. And then they're saying better word than understand is fall in love with our nervous system. Trauma and judgment are releasing. Yep. And okay, they're showing me to do it. The 22nd gene key, and I'll just share very vulnerably. I have the 22nd gene key 3 times in a row in my chart. It's gonna it's part of me. It doesn't matter how much I try to resist this aspect of me. It will. It is my DNA. Okay. So initiations at this level are really beyond human understanding. So the 22nd gene key is so powerful. It is so powerful. I highlighted some things, so I'm going to read the highlighted parts. But the 22nd gene key is all about, and your number is 22, perfect. When we ask, hey, Spirit, Source, God, Higher Power, please help me align, it will. That's the thing. It's not about the how. We intend it, and it will. And it will surprise us. And it might not be the thing we're asking for, but it will align when we intend it and we really take steps to being in it. So it's ironic. Okay, but the 22nd gene key is grace under pressure. The shadow is dishonor. The gift is graciousness, and the city is grace. So the way that the gene keys works is that there's these 3 aspects to each gene key. And what you'll find when you're reading your own is that you may have just worked through the shadow. And this will help you. It'll give you some Dolores Cannon mind candy where, okay, I get what's going on. And then it'll also help you expand your lens and your perception to deeper ways that you're going to be able to embody the gift of going through that shadow. So it really is I would say that there's no bypassing in this book. There's also no bypassing in my Space Library book. We just head on, right on through. We're not going to avoid it. We're not going to stay stuck in it like quicksand, but we are going to go through it. So let's see. I'm just going to read some of the things I highlighted from the 22nd gene key. Whenever you project negative emotional power at another being, you dishonor both yourself and the other person. So, sure, yeah, Jason. The gene keys, Richard Rudd. And then this video too will be on my YouTube and in my energy healing membership. So what it's saying there is basically when let's say we have a negative emotional response to someone or something in our life. If we take that and we go, oh, it's your fault. Oh, this is all happening because of you, or yuck, this is because of you. We're dishonoring not just that other person, we're dishonoring us. And then they're also showing me the ping pong game that they talk about a lot. So when we do that, we're also creating a ping pong game. We're not allowing something to come in and be processed and transmuted and transformed. Okay, so, but to subdue any state or feeling is to dishonor and distrust that feeling, which prevents acceptance. So again, we're not saying, I have this yucky feeling coming up. I don't want it. I don't want to feel it. So I'm going to throw it at the other person. We're saying, okay, well, I have this feeling that I don't really like feeling. It's very uncomfortable. But I'm going to honor it because it's a feeling. So what they're showing me is have this discernment between, and I talk about this a lot here, but we have many layering energetic bodies that are comprising how we're showing up here in this world. And when we're dealing with the mental body, I liken the mental body and the ego. The mental body is like an upgraded ego, but the mental body, or where you're kind of getting some of these thoughts, some of that can come in and be a little illusionary. It could be thoughts you're picking up from other people. But if it's a feeling, if it's getting to a point of a feeling, and that is your emotional body is engaged, it is worthy of your time, energy, and effort to, and less effort, but just your awareness of, it's really important you feel your feelings, is essentially what I'm saying. Tend to the emotional body. And then they're sharing also that I share a lot here about the mental body when we put the ego in a seat, or we feel the limiters coming on, and we can distance from it because it's really not even us anyway. It's just a program that's floating around. Emotions are different. If it's getting to on an emotional level, it is worth your time with. Okay, let's see. And then they talk about Hermes Trismegistus, which has been coming through like in every area of my life, and I still don't fully understand it, but it's like every single being. It's like Thoth and Hermes, and it's a lot. It's an oversoul channel. Okay, let's see. Thoth, Merlin, and Fu Si, and Christ, and Buddha. It's a lot. Hermes Trismegistus. I'll say it one more time, and I'm going to leave it at that. And then this also, the 22nd gene key, this is the last thing I'll do on the gene key before I move on. But there's 7 sacred bodies that we consist of as a soul. So here in the human, we have we've got the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the energetic body, the light body, the astral body. But when we're looking at more from, we can say like zoomed out from, I don't want to say source, but when we're zoomed out from the oversoul channel, we'll see that we have, 1, we have the physical, 2, the astral, 3, the mental, 4, the causal, 5, the buddhic, 6, the atmic, and 7, the monadic. If you haven't seen my YouTube channel yet, I've channeled a lot on the monadic merge that's happening now and the monad. Really important. Because we can almost see, and they've also talked about the nesting doll. So we can almost see that. So within this nesting doll, when you're in the physical, you may not be able to see the astral or the mental or the causal or the Buddhic unless you place intention to go within and zoom to that. And then the same thing, each layer doesn't necessarily know of the next layer. They do coincide with the chakras. That's really interesting that you said that, because Carrie, when you said that, it connected things. So I would almost think that if we were going to line it up for chakras, I would say like 1, physical is the root. 2 is the sacral, the astral. 3 is the mental, the solar plexus. Yeah, wow, this is really connecting something for me. Thank you, Carrie. 4 would be the heart, the causal. And I'm just coming up with this on the fly, so I don't know if they overlay with Richard Rudd and the creators of the I Ching's conceptualization of reality, but it is what I am feeling. And then, let's see, where did I go? 5 would be the throat chakra, the Buddhic. 6 would be the third eye, the Atmic. 7 would be the crown, the monadic. Actually, that does really feel like it connects to me. Cool. Thanks, Carrie. And thanks, Jason. Okay. So basically what this is showing us is that the nervous system. They wanted me to talk about the nervous system, so this is where it's pointing to. Sometimes we really do need to tend to the physical first. Sometimes we do need to make sure that because they're showing me you need to, like the nesting doll situation, each of those earlier phases, or not phases, layers. Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, and it's, Marisha, this is so interesting, but before I bought this book, a lot of the like little visuals and metaphors and things like that that he speaks about are in all of my channelings from the last 3 years. Like my guides have used the same metaphors and a lot of the same like exact. I also found the same thing happening with the Sophia Code and the Tablets of Light. There's many different transcriptions or interpretations of the Tablets of Light, but what they're showing me is what this is showing us, all of these, oh, it's here, it's there, and it's there, and it's here, and it's there, and it's here, and it's all connected, it's all connected, it's all connected, yeah. So this is another way of our higher self going. So when you can stop resisting anything, you're going to stop resisting yourself. And about receiving hate and judgment and rejection and the energy that we may get from people when we talk on these things or even think on these things or be about these things and we get scoffed at, remember that's an ego that's afraid of evolving. So what they want to do is make sure that you have compassion with those people that just don't get it. Because technically as a soul, when you're viewing this as a soul, you won't be irritated at those people. You'll feel for them just the way you feel for yourself when you look back at times in your life when you were very disempowered or you weren't your best self or you were really lost or really confused. It's what Spirit is just showing us is just remember to have compassion for those people that don't get it. And those who get it or say they do but don't enact on it, yeah. But it's giving them compassion because when at least you're noticing that, Heather, like at least you're observing someone's at least opening to something, giving grace for those who don't get it yet. And that's okay. And it's what Spirit is showing me about that, Heather, is sometimes our most humiliating and level setting moments, I'll say, are the most growth for us. Because now, like, it's like they're showing me the Grinch. Each time that you're able to stay open in the presence of closure, you're going to expand your heart. And you're also training your heart. So we can look at this from a quantum heart perspective or a linear ego perspective. If we're looking at it from the quantum heart perspective, we're seeing that, staying open is the way. Keeping my heart open is the way. Now, if we're going from linear ego, the linear ego is going to see something that reveals to us something from the past that hurt us in the past, and it's going to try to close. So it's what they're showing me is the next time this is occurring for you, remember the power of the quantum heart space. The mind isn't getting there. Oh, that's because the mind is working in an ego functionality. The mind is working in a linear functionality. The mind is working in, Joe Dispenza's coming up, Dr. Joe Dispenza. The mind can only know what it knows from the past. The mind cannot see the future. And there I really want to use less of mind and more of ego, because the mind is actually this beautiful, beautiful mechanism that if we get it in line with everything else is our manifester. So it's not resist the mind, resist the ego. It's hold the hand of the mind, hold the hand of the ego, be curious with it. You know, okay, I hear my thoughts that are going, I had this thought about this book. I'm not good enough to put a book out there. I'm not good enough to put it. I channel on so many crazy topics in here. What if someone throws hate at me? What if someone judges me? What if I have another family member shut the door in my face? Which I've had a lot since I woke up. But am I judging them and hating them? No, I'm saying when you're ready, again, to hug it out, maybe have a meal, I'm here. Right, and they will likely soon see. And it's also what's been freeing for me, Marisha, is it's so freeing to let go of needing them to know or needing them to get it or needing them to tell me they approve. It's so freeing because I wasn't getting it when I was trying for it anyway. And, you know, the guides come in and they say this like over timeness where they always say, is that person's response up to you? Do you really get to decide how they're going to respond to you? No, we don't. And it's that serenity prayer. It comes back to the serenity prayer of, what do I have control over here? All right, you know, I've got all these people in my life judging me and saying that they think I'm a crazy person. Okay. Do I really feel like a crazy person? No, I actually feel like the happiest I've ever been in life. And I found myself again, and this is who I really am. So, okay, they can see me as crazy. I am a little crazy, and I like that about me. Yeah. So, gosh, I feel like I'm seeing all these, all of my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful clients right now that I've worked with one-to-one. It's been such a pattern in this last 2 years for everyone, just these people just shutting, important people in our lives, shutting us out, and it's really not a form of rejection. It's a catalyst. And catalysts are not always fun. Initiations are not always fun. But they're there for a reason. And they're there to shatter you so that you can see what you really are. And you can let go of those programs that aren't yours. Okay. I think I talk a lot about spiritual psychosis in my book. But, I wonder how long I've been going. I haven't been keeping track. Yeah, Jason, I'm the same way with my kids. It's like, whew, I'm a mama bear, and I can turn into a mama bear. Like, but you know, it's great parenting. I'm definitely not here to teach anyone about parenting. I'm trying to figure that out every single day. Just learning, living, and loving, learning, and living. You know what I'm saying? Takes a tribe, takes a village. Yeah, Brittany, I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Okay, let me just scan. A lot of you have spirit guides, and oh gosh, a lot of people from the other side. Okay. So I'm getting a channel coming in, so I'm just going to share this. It's a little uncomfortable for my ego to share, but I'm going to share it anyway, because our ego can always evolve. But the last week or so, I've been having, I lucid dream each night. So part of what I've been doing over the last year is helping people move on. And it's often scenarios where we're moving things from spaces, or I'm getting someone like to an airport, or a group of people on a bus, or but it's a lot of helping people when they're in their astral body to release and let go of. It's 11:11 here on my, digitally programmed and not perfectly accurate clocks. But what they're showing me is that a lot of us are in our sleep. A lot of you here are, you're cleaning up relational dynamics from all your past incarnations. So don't think those are just a dream, because they're much more. And they're also sharing, this is the part that I'm hesitant to share, but they were showing me that any let's say human soul that has crossed over from Earth and is in any dimensional state, all of those souls are getting this expansion and upgrade as well. So what they're showing me is, you might notice, let's say you are a medium like I am, or let's say you do speak to those on the other side, or let's say you do speak to spirits, see spirits, hear spirits. They're showing me that is going to shift. In that, what they're showing me is the lower vibrational or lower frequency states of those souls are now evolving, meaning it might not feel like the same exact version, because those souls are shifting. So let's say you have someone that has passed and it was a tumultuous relationship. You might find that you relate to them differently moving forward. You may not feel so angry. You may not feel so, you might even feel like, like you might have this revelation of a family member or a friend, or, it's happening. It's happening. And that's part of why we're here together right now is this is happening widespread. This isn't just a small group of people. This is going to be coming to everyone. It's just a matter of, let's see. How am I relating to it? So know that it's all for our highest and best good. Know that it's all, and they showed me this too, that memories are going to get funny in the next few years, because it's a lot of like Mandela effect stuff. It's a lot of timeline clearing stuff, which I know is kind of funky and kind of, you see it in like the, what are those movies? Like the Loki series, which honestly, it's pretty, they do a really nice job in that series, gotta say. Shifts we've never seen. It's wild. I mean, it's like, I've asked a few times. I've been like in these multidimensional channelings, and we're like doing these timeline clearings. And I'm like, but what about, like, there's a lot of good memories in those timelines. Like a lot of love, a lot of really great stuff. And they were like, no, honey. No, it is a multidimensional reality. So when you're doing these timeline clearings, it's basically stripping away that which was based in illusion and distortion and leaving everything there that was essence. And then they show me the monadic merge a lot, which is what's happening. Oh, and it's too big for me to talk about right now because I'll go down a rabbit hole. But I'm going to pull one more card. Yeah, they said it's too much for right now. But remind me of this if anyone comes here on Friday. Remind me of the monadic merge. Because maybe I'll do like a full-blown channel on it and I'll ask all the questions that I've been wanting to. But essentially, it's all in alignment with Source. And it's not an upgrade. They always correct me on upgrade. It's an expansion. So we're getting patience in reverse. I accept that everything happens in divine order. So this is just the closing reminder. Let me see if I can get everything they're trying to download. Okay, so what they're showing me is for many of you, they're sharing in a really funny way. It's very Bashar-esque. But they're sharing, a lot of us are just going to have to put on our big boy and big girl and big us pants to basically be the parental figure to those that we used to see as ours. And this isn't limited to age, so it doesn't mean all people older than you or all people younger. This means there's going to be dynamics in the coming months and year that we're going to need to hold our truth, hold our alignment, hold our center, embody and house our soul within our physical body in a sense, in a way that feels comfortable and stable and that can be the eye of the storm. So what they're showing me is that we may have many people oscillating around us this year that are, the feeling that they're giving me is that many of these people will just be awakening for the first time. And if you can relate to awakening, remember the first time that you had an awakening, remember those first few ego deaths, remember when you questioned everything, remember when you asked, what the heck is this? Who am I? What is this planet? What is everything? Remember those times when you felt like your whole concept of reality was falling apart because they're showing me those people in our lives that are gonna get the rowdiest, the snippiest, the nastiest. Those are gonna be the ones that are awakening. And that sucks to hear. You know? It's like as a human, I'm like, well, that's what it's been. So what? It's going to get more? And they're sharing, no. We're having grace with everyone. We're having grace with everyone. We're having grace. Why am I always working so hard? It's a good question, Rick, to ask yourself. Why do you feel you need to work so hard? When did that start for you? Was it in childhood? Was it in your teenage years? Was it in your adult years? And then Jason pointed to something too. The ego, what I'll say is our collective consciousness shaping. It's like hustle culture. But the ego has this kind of like shaping that gets formed that says like, as long as I'm working hard, I'm safe, or as long as... That's just one of the big awakening questions for me. Okay. So then, Rick, what I would ask yourself is, what happens when you don't work hard? And then just like let that simmer. What are you feeling when you're not working hard? Your list is always bigger than your abilities. Definitely not true. You have many, many abilities, and many of them are untapped, Jason. That's what your guides just came through and said. And then when it comes to hustle culture or working hard or feeling like if you take a break, what they're having me have all of you scan for is where are the areas that you're guilting and shaming yourself into something that's inauthentic. Where are you just giving yourself an ego boost where you're kind of just getting the ego to shut up, but your soul is like getting drained by that? Let's see what else they're presenting. Let me see if they'll present anything else on this. Because I was definitely like this very much. I was medicated. I was working a corporate job where I worked 50 to 60 hours a week as a mom. Don't drink the grape Kool-Aid. Yeah, always make sure you check the ingredients of that Kool-Aid, if you know what I'm saying. Any tips on how to see my existence in third person? Why do you want to? Are you trying to see from someone else's perception of you, or are you trying to see the truth of you, is what came up. Food dye is horrible. Oh, yes, it is. And then this is what I'll share that they've been sharing through me a lot. Things like GMOs, plastics, things they put in the air, fluoride in the water, all these things. Have your rabbit hole times with all of that. But also know that your soul is eternal and limitless, and you can transmute anything. So it's not to say eat more of that. It's to say you've lived, you've learned, now you're going to make different choices. And also it doesn't have power over you. Don't let it have power over you, is what they're saying. And as a parent, like when I send my kids out to friends and family, like I don't have control over that. So what I do is just have the intention that everything that my kids are consuming, is be blessed. And I try to remind that of them by example, to bless our food and water each time we're having it, which goes so much further, and I can bring into words. Okay. And then one more message. Okay, so for some of you, they're sharing. This is so weird and specific, so I have to share it. But some of you need to get out and like let the wind in your hair, or like be with the wind. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Some of you are basically getting access to new elemental spirit guides. I know this is probably too weird for some of you, but basically tune into how you're relating to earth, air, wind, and fire, and get outdoors, of course. Every day if you can. And I want to share, I don't remember where I heard this, but I feel like they're showing it to me again. Where did I hear this? Oh, they're not telling me where I heard it. The shamans in many of these ancient cultures, one of the things that they would do for people that were, like really sick, or like their last, like they were like really struggling, is they would bury them in the mud, like with their head out, but like they would put them in the mud for like a day or two and they would be healed. And I know it sounds like so crazy, but the negative ions that are coming up from the earth, from bodies of water, water holds memory. The sun, absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Mommy Gotcha. So, yes. So it's just a closing reminder to return to your basic elemental tools, the sunshine, getting in nature, hugging trees, placing your hands on trees, placing your hands and bare feet on the earth, getting plenty of clean water, watching your intake, of course, not just of food, but of content. That's what they're showing with exclamation points around it. Some of you need to scan alkaline water if you can. Absolutely, Maria. But they're showing for some of you, and this isn't all, but they're showing me the Akashic records that I might be doing this too, which is like, I'm like, whoa, I guess I am doing that a little bit. They're showing us, remember of the power of the content you're consuming. Because for some of us, we're like really focused on the food and we've pretty much got the food down. But the only area to clean up is what we're taking in. So doom scrolling. No more doom scrolling. Okay. I'm on TikTok, so I don't know if it's going to like kick me out abruptly or something. But basically, like all of the social media platforms, they're going to be saying a certain story. Okay? They're going to be saying a certain story. Run it through your intuitive filter. And they're telling me that some of you, like when you're watching things you shouldn't be watching, maybe it's movies or TV or the news or something like that, you get this instant feeling in your stomach that says don't. And you don't listen. And then you keep watching and then like you don't feel good. They're just sharing, be very, very aware of your subtle layering bodies through everything you do. So know that your body is going to give you subtle guidance as to what to take in and what not to. And this could be really subtle. Like this could be that like you're going through your day to day and like you subtly just get kind of like taken a this way or like to this choice or this menu item or this thing at the grocery store. Like let your body guide you. Because what they're showing me is a lot of you, the things that you maybe shouldn't be partaking in. See, oh God, yeah, this feels uncomfortable to share. But sometimes it's even people. Like you get this like mild, like, oh, I really shouldn't be around this person today. But you're like, oh, I'll just do it again anyway, because you're people pleasing or whatever. And then you go do it and then you feel like crap. They're just saying, listen to your subtle cues. Because your intuitive center and your lower dantian and your stomach and your digestive area, it's going to give you cues. Your massively intuitive heart center, gonna give you cues. Your third eye, your upper dantian area, gonna give you cues. So just listen to them. Because it's basically, you're going to be establishing a symbiotic relationship to say, I hear you, I'm listening. Keep telling me. Keep guiding me. And then you're creating this very, very loving relationship with your physical vessel and your nervous system and your intuitive guidance system, which is at your core. Remember your core. So they're saying, go down into that chakra, go down into that, get to the centeriest, get to the centeriest. And then they're showing me like a car wash. Why are they showing me a car wash? This is funny. Okay, this is the last little channel I'll bring through before I close it out. Okay, they're showing me a lot of you are like you just keep taking your car through the car wash, right? And your car doesn't actually need that car wash. Your car needs a detailing on the inside. So it doesn't actually need those continuous scrub downs on the outside to be shiny on the outside. It needs a clean down on the inside. For some of you, if that resonates. Because they showed me like in my clairvoyance, they showed me all these different types and colors of cars going through this car wash and then each single one and then they showed me like people, they're being comical, but they're showing me people like at these facilities, like just shaking their head, like they just need to clean out the inside of their car. What are they doing? They just keep wasting this money week after week, just cleaning that outside, and they won't just clean the inside. Oh, these fools. Which is kind of funny because like we're not trying to be judgmental here, but sometimes we need to. Oh, I'm getting kicked out. Here, but sometimes we need to. Oh, I'm getting kicked out. I'm sure I skipped, and TikTok probably heard me. No, I'm just kidding. Every single time at about an hour, and it kicks me out. closing announcements. It's inverted now. Oh, I have my thing backwards now. Thank you for the reminder. Anisha's Angels. Okay, so Space Library, this is the copy that is not the official one, and I drew on, because I'm a light language channel as well, and it just pours out of me. Actually, I'm going to show you guys some of my light language channelings of art, so you can get a few visual activations. Try not to knock everything over. This has been like showing to me, not this. This has been showing to me my clairvoyance like every single day, and I don't exactly know what it is, but we will see. And then this lotus. What else do I have in here? I like to just, for those of you that are really creative, have different like outlets and ways for you to record your art around. So like me, for example, I use my voice for lots of different versions of things. I use lots of different, I like to paint, I like to write. I like to, that's an archetype that gets attracted to me a lot, is a lot of you jack of all tradesies. Yeah, it's for a reason. You're not meant to pick one thing. Okay. What else can I show you guys? This is a duo. I don't do aura drawings, but I do see auras, and I typically have that gift a little turned down because it freaked me out in public. This is me and my daughter. Did it together. This one came through, and they showed me this is like we're shedding. This is like an ego shedder, I guess you could call it. Orca drawings. Maybe that's my next thing. Who knows? Maybe you're my spirit guide showing up and saying, don't forget to draw some orcas. Okay. Ooh. This is kind of like symbolic of the Taurus field and the Merkaba. They're sharing, some of you need to look into the 12D shield, Lisa Renee, and start doing that 12D shield every day. You can do it guided for a few times, and then you'll get it down. You're basically creating this Merkaba structure around the third eye. You're sending it down the system, which clears it. You're meeting that Merkaba with the Merkaba at the center of the earth, and then that sends up energy. It spins out a disc beneath you. The Merkaba moves back up, spins out another disc over your head, and then connects to your soul star. Lisa Renee, I believe is her name. She also, the Ascension, why am I blanking on this now? Yes, I would, if you're doing any type of spiritual work, definitely be building your 12D shield as often as you can. As often as you can. And then this one's pretty fun. Ooh. Isn't that one cool? So I just sit down and like let my pens and pencils just kind of like start moving. And then it just starts happening and I'm like, oh, it's turning into something. And by the way, my whole family does art now, and it's like they love it. I had to sneak it at them. Shove pads of paper everywhere, and like, might as well do something with it. It's there. You know, pick it up. Okay, so in closing, my very first book will be available on Amazon on Friday. I will be back here on Friday, probably around noon. Although it may come earlier, who knows. Jennifer is getting all of her friends coloring in their 40s. Please. Thank you, Jennifer. It's so much more than just, well, play has its value and art has its value and just doing it has its value. So please, do it. And if you feel brave enough, share it. And the next, I will be also putting out a book. This is like very new and then the creation, but I'm going to be doing some visual activator books as well. Love markers. That's your soul, Joy. Buy yourself a bunch of markers, please. And then also know that for those of you that your ego is going, that is not productive. That is not going to make me $1. That is not going to do anything for me. Do it for a little bit and see how you feel, and know that your feeling is everything. Will not be doom scrolling after this sesh. Thank you, Mark. Each time you don't doom scroll, you help those doom scrolls stop scrolling. So, I'm not sure why my hands are doing really weird things right now. But thank you all for being here. This was really fun today. Back on Friday. If you're not giving this page a follow, please do. Just know I'm just a soul, just like you, here to help us remember who we are and align with our authenticity. I love you all. This will be on my YouTube. And what time Friday? It will likely be sometime between 10 and 12 Central Standard Time. But heck, at this point, I'll probably do that one on my YouTube too. So, I want you all there if you can be. That would be really lovely. Because the more of us there, the better it is. The more connective it is. What is the third eye protection? You mean the 12D shield I was talking about? Look into the 12D shield, Mountain Mama. You should find lots of different guided practices for it. It's something to get used to. It's something that will really help you ground and stabilize your nervous system and assist you in your ascension process. I highly recommend. Lisa Renee. Look into her. She's fabulous. All right. Thank you all for being here. Let's take one very deep breath, filling the whole vessel in any area that might be calling your attention. Shake out your hands. Be sure to hydrate aplenty today. You got access to more of your shine in a certain sense of the way. So I love you all, and I'll see some of you here on Friday. Namaste.